Hello everyone, just having some slight technical difficulties here. Should be up in a second though. All right. Try that out. Okay, we are live. We are golden. We are good. Hello, for those that don't know me, I'm Dave. Normally I'm teaching the morning classes if you don't see me too much. I work with the wellness team, and I am covering for Manouche for the next couple weeks on Wednesday. So we'll be doing just a HIIT circuit throughout these weeks. I won't be alternating my classes like Manouche does. The equipment you'll need today, mat is optional. Dumbbells or a resistance band are optional as well, but highly encouraged. I will show modifications. If you don't have any of these pieces of equipment, just let me know in chat and I'll show you the modifications. I do have the chat up as well. And if you need any modifications, if you have these weights and you feel like the exercise is inappropriate, I'll try to show a few. Without further ado, we'll just get into the warm-up. I'm just going to do some arm swings to start. And while we're doing these, palms up. When I'm out, I cross my body and turn my palms down, alternating which arm's on top. I'll explain a little bit more about the workout. So we're going to do two groups of circuit exercises. It's going to be 6 exercises in each group. And they'll sort of follow a similar format of, we're going to be doing a strength exercise, followed by a cardio exercise using the same muscle group. We'll be doing each exercise for 30 seconds with 15 seconds of rest in between. We'll only be doing 2 rounds, but we're going to finish off with 3 minutes of core. Feels good to open up that chest after sitting at the desk for a little bit. All right, and we're going to go into our jumping jacks just for a little bit of cardio warm-up. If you're never comfortable with the jumping jacks, I always offer the step instead with the arms up. You know, not everyone's comfortable with the full jumping jack and jumping posture. And if you're tuning in and you're able to, say hello in chat. I'd like to see who's joining me. It's really good to see some of these faces. And we'll just go into these side steps. Not so much a lunge, just warming up the inner thigh, hip abductors. It's more of a step than a lunge, just keeping that trail leg straight. And then we'll do a step forward and twist. So I'm going to step forward with my left foot, twist to the left, step back, step forward with my right foot, twist to the right, and just alternating through those. So you can see how I have my setup today. I like to get my dumbbells in a runway style. That way I can just sort of move to the next set of weights if I need to, or for whatever exercise. Make sure you have your water with you today. It will be a pretty good workout. Hello, Kelly. Good to see you. Thank you for joining. Thank you for saying hello. It does mean a lot. All right, so without further ado, we have exercise group 1 on, everything's reversed for me, on the side here. So our first exercise, I'll demonstrate everything and then we'll go into it, is our glute bridge with chest press. So I'm going to use my heavier weights for this. For the demonstration, I'm going to use the lighter weights. I go into that glute bridge position. My elbows are shoulder height, and then I'm going to press up, keeping the glute bridge position the whole time, and down. I don't let my elbows touch the ground, and that just allows me to keep tension in the chest the whole time. So that's exercise 1. The modification, if you don't have dumbbells, will just be your standard push-up, you know, straight line, or if you need to modify from the knees, or you can always combine the two, right? Like so that's your modification if you don't have weights. You can also use a resistance band around your back for the chest press. Walkouts. This one is a particularly challenging exercise. We're going to walk our hands down our body, walk out into that high plank position, stand back up. So again, from the front, just so you can see, feet are hip width apart. I walk down. I walk out. Hopefully I didn't disappear there. I stand up. Front lunge, you can grab weights if you want to. At the sides, I'm just going to take that exaggerated step forward. Sure, I'm on camera here. Exaggerated step forward. Trail knee just above the ground. I never let it hit the ground. And then I alternate. You don't need to have weights for this. Just an alternate. Our squat jack. This one's pretty fun. We're going to go into a squat position. Show you from the front. Feet hip width apart. I'm going to squat, touch down, jumping jack, switch. All right, so that's our cardio move from the side. Touch down, out. Keeping the chest up the whole time. Renegade Row, we use our lighter weights. High plank position. You don't need to have weight for this, but essentially from the high plank position, I'm rowing the weight past my body, like so. And last but not least, this is the triple bear. This is another very challenging move. Quadruped position, knees off the ground. You can hop to the left, center, right, or if you're not comfortable with the hop, quick steps. That one is really challenging. I look forward to doing that with you. I need to. That's where my remote is. So 2 rounds of everything. We'll start with 30 seconds. Getting into that position for our glute bridge chest press. And we're starting in 3, 2, and 1. Let me just find the timer here. There we go. 30 seconds on. I am using a little bit of heavier weights for this. That's okay to push yourself. It's only 30 seconds. Halfway through. But it started you guys a little early. Keep those hips high. Elbows just below the shoulders. Don't let those elbows touch the ground. Almost there. 3, 2, and 1. And then we get 15 seconds to rest. Enough time to grab some water. Stand up, get in, get ready for those walkouts because we're going again in 3, 2, and 1. Crawl down, walk out, high plank position. I don't like the hips to rock on this. Stand all the way up, hinge from the hips, crawl down, walk out. Stand up nice and tall, almost there, out. Down and up. We have enough time for one more, so I'll do it nice and quick. 3, 2, and 1. 15 seconds to rest. Get your weights if you're using them for the front lunge. I'll demonstrate going forward this time. 3, 2, and 1. Go with my left. Go with my right. I stand tall the whole time. So I like to do things in alternating from, strength to cardio, because I find it gives me a little bit of a break from the cardio side of things that we're done there. Going into our Swat Jacks, 10 seconds, grab some water. So I find it gives me a little bit of a break from the cardio side. My heart's pumping. And I still have the strength to lift the weights I want. And we're going to those Swat Jacks. Keeping the chest up. Squatting down. Just doing that little bit of a jumping jack in between. Time to go. Almost there. Don't do too much talking on this one because it is challenging. And time. All right, down in the ground, or Renegade Row. We're starting on that 3-minute mark. Three, high plank. And we're rowing. Now you can always do this from a modified position as well, right? Working those same back muscles. I stay in that plank position. But I'm just in that modified position. And you don't need to do one or the other the whole time. You can switch halfway through. You can do 10 seconds of each alternating. Double fast the body. There we go. 15 seconds of rest. We're into our triple bear. Again, quadruped position. I'm going to just lift up a little bit. We're going. Again, you can step. Or you can hop. You can do a few hops. Transition into the step. Halfway there. So we catch your breath back. Finish off strong. 3, 2, and 1. Awesome. That's round 1. Give you guys a couple extra seconds to catch your breath. And we'll get down into our chest press with glute bridge. Only 2 rounds. If you found that difficult or if you want to modify on this round, we're going in 3, 2, and 1. Keep those hips pressed high. Elbows don't touch the ground, but they come as close as you can to it. Your triceps might just graze the floor. Pushing straight up, keeping the wrists, shoulders, and elbows stacked at the top. 3, 2, and 1. Excellent. We'll do those walkouts on the 45 mark. Again, standing tall. Make sure the hips aren't wobbling. Going at your own pace. I often say in my beginner workouts that we need to make our workouts our own, right? Some people are less fit than me, so they might be going a little bit slower, might be doing some modified versions. Some people might be more fit than me, and they're going a little bit faster. Maybe they're doing a little bit more weight. Maybe they're doing higher intensity. Last one here. But we all make our workout our own. I'll often say, we're going on 30 mark here. They're front lunges. I'll often say, you know, if you always give a 7 or an 8 out of 10 every time you work out, every time you go to the gym, you're always going to be improved because that 7 or that 8 will change based on how your body adapts. We're just going with these lunges, step forward, chest up, nice straight lines. Stopping on the 2-minute mark, almost there. 3, 2, and 1. I think I might have cut those a little short, but that's okay. Starting on the 15 with our Swat Jacks. Oh, a little early, got excited. And I tend to talk a lot throughout these, not only to give you guys some cues and some instruction, but I find time goes a lot quicker when I do. We're already over halfway there. 10 seconds. Keep my chest up. If I can't touch the floor, you know, if I'm just going to there, that's fine too. It's all the same principle. All right, enough time. Get onto the ground in the Renegade Run. Again, if you don't have weights, that's fine for this. Motion's the same. I'm going to make sure my feet are wide enough so my hips don't rotate. You know, I've created almost a triangle for myself with the point where my weights are and the point where my feet are, right? That's a stable position. I'm still going to work my core, but I'm setting my body up the best way so that none of the table legs come crumbling from underneath me. And starting on the 45 mark. Ooh, Bessie. We are working today. Into that triple bear. Again. My knees are just hovering. And I'm okay with the modification here. I'm still keeping my heart rate up. Still working hard. Maybe I feel a little guilty, so I do a few hops. I know there's only 5 seconds left, so I keep it up. All right, perfect. Whew. All right, so we'll take a little extra rest between sets here. Go into group 2. I'm gonna go ahead and grab some water before I talk and demonstrate. How'd everyone find round 1? Challenging, easy. Exercises were confusing. Didn't like how Dave didn't shut up. Let me know. I like to hear all the comments. Nice that they're positive, but say what you want to say. All right, next group. We have our reverse fly. So for this one, I hinge at the hips. Notice how my spine stays nice and straight. And all I'm doing is I'm pulling the weights apart, squeezing my shoulder blades at the back. Right? Squeezing my shoulder blades at the back. And if you have a resistance band and you don't want to hinge, you can always do your classic band pull apart. Hands at shoulder height, a little lower. Squeeze the shoulder blades apart. Or if you don't have any equipment from laying on the ground, you can do those raises, right? Hips, knees, toes, ceiling. I sort of made up the exercise name on this one, but all we're doing is just like the name suggests. I'm going to touch my hips, I'm going to touch my knees, I'm going to touch my toes, I'm going to reach and touch the ceiling. So you can modify this. Maybe it's hips, knees, toes, shin. Maybe it's hips, knees, ankles, ceiling, or maybe you want to add a little bit of difficulty and it's hips, knees, toes, and you actually go to touch the ceiling, right, with a bit of a jump. So from the front, hips, knees, toes, ceiling, chest stays up the whole time. Lateral lunges. If you are going to hold a weight on this one, I suggest holding a goblet style. I take that exaggerated step out to the side, sink into it. Sorry, I'm hiding there. Sink into it, push off, alternate. You know, there's a bit of a slight lean forward, but I don't collapse. As long as your spine stays the same angle as your shins, you're pretty good. Gator hops. Make sure your area is clear for these, which is always just good practice when you exercise anyways. So I'm going to show you the regress version and then we're going to build on that. So regress version, I just take that step behind with a bit of a lunge. And then with adding the hop, I can, again, it's always tough getting started. I can hop on these opposite arm, opposite leg. So there. And there we go. Just like that. Swimmers. We're going to want lighter weight. You might even just be able to get away with your arms. I'll raise laterally, bring it to the front, down, up from the front, side, Side looks like this. Just reversing the motion each time. And then our plank thrusters into our squat. High plank position. I'm going to jump my legs forward into this squat. Hands down, back out. Squat, hands up, like you're ready to receive that chest pass in basketball, except you're squatted a little bit lower. Hands on the ground, out. If you need to regress, you can always go high plank, step, step, up, right? Wherever you need to be on that one. And those are our 6 exercises. So I'm going to start with the band pull apart. You can start with the bent over rows or the prone tees. So we're going in 3, 2, and 1. So I'm just pulling apart. If I was doing the dumbbells, I'd be hinged, pulling apart. You don't need to do the hinge so much with the band because you're not fighting against gravity like you need to with dumbbells. We're just using the logarithmic resistance of the band. Pulling, squeezing the shoulder blades at the back. All right, we can drop our equipment. Hip, knees, and toes on the 45 mark. Hip, knees, toes, ceiling. Makes it sound like a little bit of a game, which is okay. You know, exercise should be fun. It shouldn't be ruthless and brutal. Hips, knees, toes, ceiling, hips, knees, toes. And I'm adding a little bit of speed to this, right? I want to see how many I can get in this time. I'm still hinging from the hips, though, trying to keep that spine. Hips, knees, toes, ceiling. And maybe I see my spine is going a little bit rounded at the bottom. So maybe I'm shortening up my ankle to the shins. You know, this one isn't as challenging as other moves, but I want to build on this one in coming weeks. All right, lateral lunges are next. I'm going to grab my weight. I'm going to hold a goblet style, which means my wrist and my elbows are stacked, as you can see. I take that exaggerated step to the side. And I'm turning my body here only to give you guys 2 different views, but to also make sure I stay on camera. We're halfway there. Gator Hops will be next after a bit of a break, so you need to grab some water. Go ahead. Notice how my toes stay pointed the same direction. Very important. And that trail leg stays straight. I'm loading up the lead leg, or the side I'm stepping into. Gator Hops, so I'm going to make sure my area is clear. I don't do any tripping. The first one, I always just sort of step out and then find. And if you need to regress, just go ahead and do the step without the hop. And then you can use your trail leg to stabilize. But you can see how my lead leg does all the work. And my arms are just for efficiency, right? Like, this is all just conservation of momentum. So I can catch my balance. So I can appropriately lead that left leg. Swimmers are next. And grab my weight. Again, you can do swimmers with a resistance band as well, but it's much more challenging. I suggest for these exercises, use a lighter weight. And then if you need to, go ahead and drop the weight and just use your arms, because your arms have weight to them too, right? And it's still difficult to do this motion if you're not attuned, if you're both attuned to strength training and you're not, because this is a very long lever that we're doing, right? Arms are fully extended. The length of your arm is the lever. We're done there. We go into our flag thruster, into our squat on the 45 mark. Go ahead and grab some water if you need to. High plank position. Bring my feet forward, chest is up, hands down, back out. You know, it's almost like the burpee without the jump, but I just like, I'll show you from the front so you guys can see how much I'm losing my hair. I just like how much I'm required to open up into that squat and to go from that position, right? It's a quick explode and load. All right, and we're done. That was round one. Sorry to burst your bubble there, leaving that round two on there, but that was only round one. That is a consistent trope of mine, is to forget to change that round timer, so I do apologize. A lot going on here. We'll grab our dumbbells. We're going into reverse fly in 3, 2, and 1. We're a bit short on time here. I still do want to get my 3 minutes of core in at the end. We might shorten it down to 2 minutes just so that we can ensure everyone is where they need to be on time. Time to go. I typically tend to go a little bit over with my exercises, just making sure everybody knows what they're doing. Squeezing the shoulder blades at the back, and time. Okay, hip maze toes, ceiling. Whew. 3, 2, and 1. I'll show you guys the front here. Knees, toes, ceiling. Notice how I keep my chest up the whole time? And I'm going to about the bottom of my shin, less so my toes, just because that's where I begin to lose that form. Form above everything. If you need to take a little bit of extra time, you know, the speed will come, but if you practice with crappy form, unfortunately, you're at risk for injuring yourself, and you're at risk of making that crappy form a tough habit to break. All right, lateral lunges. And I can do this side. See, I'm loading my lead leg. Trail leg is really just there to get stretched and to keep you balanced, right? We're just loading the outside of the lead leg, pushing off from the whole foot to do all the work. That's where the exercise lies, is that lead leg. Excellent. Gator hops are next. Again, I'll start off with the regression, just to show you guys what that looks like. Going again in 3, 2, and 1. I step, touch my foot back behind. Regression doesn't necessarily mean easier. It just puts it to a point that you can work your 7 out of 10 or your 8 out of 10 without fear of hurting yourself, without fear of doing it wrong. Right? Like, I'm still working pretty hard on this one. All right, excellent. We got our swimmers. Start on the 3-minute mark. You know, it's a little easier at home to do these regressions. You can feel a little bit more confident about it. But if you're ever in a, you know, when we get back to regular where you're in an in-person class, you don't need to feel afraid to do the regressions. I guarantee you, nobody's there to judge you. They're happy that you're there. They're happy that you're trying. They're happy that you're doing your best. And I bet you they're more happy that you're not going to hurt yourself and you're still getting a good workout. Awesome. I'm not sure if that was a little short. No, we're on time there. All right, 5 thrusters into the squat for the final one on the 45 mark. All right, into that squat. I try to land on my heels, right, on this when I swing my feet forward. If you're not quite there, you know, you can take that step, stand up, go into that squat. Take that step, step, squat, stand up, take that little bit of break if you need to. As always, form above function. We'll do one more here. I'll just do it quick like this. Perfect. All right, so that's the main part of our circuit. We're going to bust out our mat. And for the purpose of time, the 3 minutes is just constantly going. We just switch from back and forth. Our first exercise is going to be a heel touch, which is we're up, alternating through, and then our second exercise is our low plank tap outs. So low plank position, tap the foot out, alternate tapping the foot out, right? All right, so we'll get going in 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead and grab a drink if you need to. My feet are close to my bottom, and I really make sure that I have a lot of space under my shoulders, right? My shoulders are never touching the ground. I'm just alternating, bringing my fingers to the little piggy on the outside or to my ankles. All right, and we switch into our low plank tap outs right away. There's no rest on these ones. The rest is the transition, or the rest is when you need it to be. If you need to take a break, go ahead and take a break. Time to go on this. Low plank tap out at your own pace. If you need to go modified, I suggest just holding the modified plank. It's very difficult to tap out from that position. Oh, that's round 2 there. I did it again, see? And then I just transition right into those heel touches. Probably starting to feel the burn in the core now on the second round. By the third round, we might be struggling a little bit. We're going to fight through. We're going to do our best. We're going to push. 3, 2, 1. I'm not losing that space underneath my shoulders, keeping my shoulders off the ground. Into that low plank with tap outs. Fast transitions, right? We only have 3 minutes on this. We're already on the back 9 of that 3 minutes. Sorry for the golf reference in the middle of winter. For the plank, I'm keeping that nice straight line, right? My hips aren't sinking, my hips aren't up. Nice straight line from shoulder to ankle. Elbows are right under the shoulder, and I transition. One more set of each. Final round. I go right into those heel touches. No time break. Shoulders off the ground. I'm lifting from the core. I'm not rounding. I'm just lifting my shoulders off the ground and then alternating by using my obliques to touch the outside of my ankles with my fingers. And why these two exercises are so deadly paired next to each other is because they're using the same part of the abdominals. Last part, by tap outs. This is more of a stabilizing exercise for the obliques. The heel touches are more of an active exercise, using those internal and external obliques to move your torso from side to side to touch your ankles. We're almost there. We're keeping 4, 5 more seconds. Finish strong. Let's go, let's go, let's go. And time. Just like that. So if you have time to stick around for a stretch, we are going to go through a cool down. I do see I'm about 4 minutes over time. So this is where I usually end up after a workout. Arms right overhead. I think they call it good morning stretch in yoga. We'll call it the afternoon. Good afternoon, Dave stretch, because we're going to go in a bit of a Y here instead of straight overhead. That's just going to stretch the chest out a little bit more. Excellent work. You know, that was a tough workout. I'm going to cross my left leg over my right, left hand through the hole, right hand on the outside, pulling the right knee towards the chest. Yeah, I was breathing heavy that whole time, so hopefully you guys found it a pretty decent workout as well. We used a lot of these muscles today in our hips. We'll switch sides. Right leg crossed over, right hand through the hole, left hand on the outside of the left leg, pulling the left leg towards the chest. We used a lot of those hip abductor muscles today in the plank tap outs and the lunges. We want to make sure that we release them a little bit. Taking a few deep breaths down here. We'll do our half kneel hip flexor next. We're going to take this half kneel position or kneeling lunge position. My left leg's forward, my right leg's down. So I'm just going to bring my right arm up in line with my ear and push my hips forward so I'm a nice, straight, tall line here. Hopefully you can see a little better from there. We might stretch out the finger while we do this one, pulling back on those right fingers with the left hand. And we'll switch sides. So right leg forward, push the hips forward, left arm up, and then just right arm pulling down on those right fingers. I like to combo stretches just because sometimes I find stretching a little boring, and I like to be efficient with my time. So this is always a great way to do it. And we'll finish off with our standing chest stretch. I'm just grabbing one wrist behind my back, shoulders back and down as I keep my chest up. And we'll switch sides. I hope you all enjoyed this substitution. Marnouche will be back on the 24th, I believe, is when she comes back on the schedule. So if you're missing her till then, I understand. But hopefully, in the meantime, you find these classes a-okay. I do teach a class tomorrow at 7 a.m. if you liked it, another HIIT class. But if you're not a morning person, and I will see you all next Wednesday. Have a wonderful rest of your day.